from Search Marketing Gurus and Key Relevance. I'm here at Blog Potomac in Falls Church, Virginia. I'm here with Debbie Weil. She is the co-chair of this great event, and she's co-chair with Jeff Livingston, who we interviewed before. But I want to ask you, what inspired you two to put this together?
Well, I have to be transparent, as always. So it was Jeff's idea originally. He asked me to join him and be the co-chair. But we both had very much the same motivation, and that was to really create a sense of a social media community in the greater D.C. area. And D.C., as you know, is a very spread out place. I mean, there's Capitol Hill, and there's downtown, and there's Virginia, and there's Maryland. And so he had the brilliant idea of calling it Blog Potomac, because the river runs through the district and Virginia and Maryland. And so we're very excited about it.
That's awesome. So how do you think the reception, like everybody feels about this event so far?
I think the reception's pretty good. I mean, we got a big crowd here. They're all lining up for lunch as we speak and talking to each other. So lots of buzz, and everyone's interviewing each other and videoing each other, which I think is a good sign. And I think the afternoon speakers should be equally interesting. And I think the audience, it's taken them a while to warm up to the idea that it's an unconference and they can talk a little bit more in addition to asking questions. So I think, again, remember, this is Washington. People are a little stiff in Washington. We're not totally cool and hip here in Washington, so we're getting into it. It may take us, till after lunch.
Okay. So along with being the co-chair, you are the author of this book, which is one of my favorite books. It's one of the first books I actually read on blogging, and I have recommended this book inside and out to my different clients. Tell me a little bit about the corporate blogging book.
Well, believe it or not, I started writing it 3 years ago.
Wow.
Which is like ancient history. And it was, an editor came to me. She sent me an email and said, have you ever thought about writing a book about corporate blogging? And I've been blogging about it and writing about it. And I used to write a column for something called ClickZ. So I have a lot of writing online. Then the book is a combination of a little bit of a provocative, what is this phenomenon? Do you really need to pay attention to it? And a handbook for companies that really want to do it. So I have a chapter on should your CEO blog. There's a chapter on writing tips, which is actually one of my favorite chapters. There's a chapter on how to convince your boss. And what's interesting, again, is I wrote it 3 years ago. It came out in 2006, which is 2 years ago. And I kind of wish it were coming out right now, because companies, I think, are just getting to the point where not just people like you, wonderful people like you reading it, but they actually would read it and do it. So, what can I say? I mean, there's lots of books out on blogging now, but so I wish in a way, and at the time I thought maybe it was going to be too late, but I wasn't. I think maybe it was too early.
Yeah, I really like it. I recommend it even today. Anybody asks me, my clients ask me, I'm like, oh, go out and read this book. It is so good. So can you give me 3 tips maybe, or maybe a few tips on what maybe helps a company decide whether they should blog or not?
Well, it's always a great question, and I think today with the bigger term social media being the bigger idea, a blog is only one piece of that. Although I do tell clients a blog is the main platform on which a lot of other social media live, like YouTube. But should a company have a blog? I think there's probably 10 things they could sort of check off and decide. But one, do they have a story? Can they talk about issues, their industry, their product in a way that's not corporate speak? Can they talk about it in a way that's interesting, that'll engage their readers? 2, are they willing to do it? I mean, are they willing to put aside? It's really not money. It's are they willing to assign a couple people or maybe a team to write the blog? Multiple authors. Because there is some work involved. It's a very creative endeavor, but it's work because it is content. You're creating content. And then 3, are they willing to listen? Will they listen to readers who will leave comments? Hopefully, I mean, I say hopefully because this is the whole point, that are probably, some of them may be negative. Will they allow that? I mean, if a company culture is such that they just can't listen to anything negative, and they're really buttoned up and they can only speak in a messaging, corporate speak, one-way style, I would say, no, don't do a blog yet. Maybe just go into listening mode and listen to what the other bloggers are saying.
Okay, thank you very much, Debbie. I am Lee Evans for Search Marketing Gurus and Key Relevance here at Blog Potomac. We'll have more interviews later.